is Saturday the 23rd of August, like 5 a.m. I am heading to Glasgow for a full day event involving yoga, Pilates, aerial educational workshops. I am just away to make some ceremonial cacao so I can drink that on the train, help myself get in the rhythm a little bit. I have packed a lot of food. This is mainly because I do not sit well with processed food. I'm so sensitive to the slight negative impacts it has on my body, so I would rather fuel myself well so that I can show up in each of these different classes and workshops in my optimal, focused self. I am also late Luteal, so I would rather make sure I do have a lot of nutrients in today, specifically because we will be doing a lot of movement, so I would rather really support my body as best as I can. Jack is still in bed, so I really hope you can hear this okay. This is ceremonial grade cacao. I'm going to make up a ceremonial dose, so probably going for about 42 grams. Using a knife is so not quiet. Jack is sleeping. I spent so long meditating that I now do not have as much time, and I'm trying to move quick and quietly, and I don't think that works for me. Don't know why I insist on holding the flask as I pour boiling water into it, knowing that I find while I'm clumsy. I've got boiling water all over my hands. Okay, so I'm just picking up the cacao in the pot over here. Now I've just got cacao and cayenne, which is actually an unusual combo for me. I usually have it on its own or would spice it up with cinnamon and ginger, but I feel I could really do with the depth of the cayenne today. And as for my tea, Earth the Womb, it is chamomile, ginger, lemongrass and dandelion root. So that tea I feel really brings me home to my womb space, and it really helps me ground back into my energy. So I thought that would be the perfect tea for today. I am late Luteal, so it's not the perfect time for socialising, or it's not my most social energy, and sometimes I can be so socially awkward. So I thought if I have good food and good drinks that ground me in my body, it just allows me to enjoy the experience better. Otherwise I'll end up a little anxious and it just ruins things. So I would rather understanding that this is how my body works, flowing with my body in this way. As for my food, I always like to pack so much food, but I don't have much space, so I've tried to squish it all into one tub. Now that I'm looking at it right now, it looks so unappealing, but when I was making it last night, it tasted great. So I have sweet potato puree, which is literally just baked sweet potatoes and butter all mashed up. I've got caramelized balsamic onions, which is onions, butter, maple syrup. It's far too early in the morning. I have caramelized onions, which is just onions, maple syrup, balsamic vinegar and butter. And then I have 4 grass-fed burgers and 4 organic free-range eggs. Okay, I am very aware that this does not look the most appetizing. However, I am a big advocate of, I'm going to say animal based, but I'm not strictly to that. I do like to add things in like sweet potatoes because I think or I feel that they're really beneficial for my cycle health. But I do follow a heavily animal based diet, and it just is what I feel best off of. So I have my cacao, my Earth the Womb tea, all my food, which is actually it's probably about 2 meals worth for me, or at least it's like a breakfast and lunch together. I tend to eat smaller breakfast and lunch and a larger dinner, so that should see me through till the end of the day when I can get my dinner. And then just 2 bottles of water. Now, this won't last me all day, but water it's not hard to come by, so that should be okay. I'm gonna pour my tea and pack it all up, and then I am ready to go to the train station. So I'm thinking I'm gonna want my food to be cold, so I'm gonna put it in a carrier bag with an ice pack, but I can't seem to find any carrier bags. So we have, actually I'm gonna show you this. This is freshly grown lavender from Jack's mum's garden. No, this is gonna get too messy for this time in the morning and being so rushed. We're gonna settle for a bin liner instead. Also, I shouldn't say this is my first time trying to vlog, so I'm actually a little bit nervous about vlogging in public. Whether or not I actually talk to the camera in public is a different story. I might just take clips and do a voiceover. Yes, we will see. We will see how awkward Luteal me is going to be today. Oh, I see that. Words are so important. The words I put out there are going to actually manifest into how I then do act. So I'm going to say I'm not going to be awkward. I'm going to speak fluently to the camera, but we will see. So I got to the train station with about 10 minutes to spare. Now, I can be a bit of an anxious traveller. I hate the feeling of being a little bit behind and then the thought of missing whatever transport it is. So I always go a little bit earlier. And I got on the train. I had intentions of properly vlogging, but it was a lot busier than I had actually hoped for. I'd really hoped for a completely empty cart. But I was drinking my cacao, and I'm not so sure having a full ceremonial dose on the train was the right thing, but the experience was interesting and offered a lot nonetheless. And then I was just journaling everything that I was feeling. I've been feeling so much in my heart space, obviously because the theobromine, the cacao is a natural heart opener. However, recently I've been really, really feeling my heart open, and there's been so many uncomfortable and difficult emotions surfacing. So I was really just trying to write them all down and express everything I could whilst I was sat on the train. And then I started doing a little bit of work for my online platform, In Her Body. I have recently launched this. It's got a few courses, some for movement based, some for healing work like meditation and breath work, and then another section, the feminine section. So this is all about healing the feminine body and aligning with our menstrual cycle and naturally healing any symptoms. So I was working away at that, and there's also a whole community section on this, and I do live classes too. So I was really just keeping the community section active whilst I was on the train and doing some other little bobs for that. And then I was reading my book. Now, a friend gifted me this book for my birthday. It's The 3 Waves of Volunteers and the New Earth. Now, I've really been developing my spiritual beliefs or unraveling my spiritual beliefs recently. I've for a long time felt that there is something greater, but I've just never been 100% sure on what my beliefs truly are. And this book has really triggered a cascade of thoughts and emotions and beliefs, and I am strongly resonating with a lot that's in this book. I'm not very far through. I'm maybe only about a quarter of the way through it. Very, very interesting though, and I'm excited to finish it and see how strongly I'm aligning with it once I'm at the end of the book. However, I'm always open to new ideas and new belief systems, and I feel I kind of like my training. I don't feel like there's a one system fits all, but like I can take little nuggets from loads of systems, and it's the same with my belief system. I feel like there's so many different belief systems that I align with, and I'm just slowly forming my own belief with time. But yeah, on the journey, I then was watching the sun come up, And you know what? I love being on the train or even a plane or a bus, and it goes from like dark to light throughout your journey. I don't know. There's something about the transition I love. And also, so I don't know if you wondered what was in my hair in the start of this video, but it's a sock. I wrap my hair round a sock the night before, so I don't have to curl my hair in the morning. One, because I don't like using heat in my hair, just because it's damaging. But also, this way is so much easier. It's way less effort. I spend about 5 to 10 minutes the night before, and then I sleep with it, and then a couple minutes, and I take it out the next morning. Instead of, my hair's long and my hair's thick, so if I'm curling my hair, I'm probably talking about 30 minutes. So one, saves so much time and energy, and two, it is way better for my hair. So yeah, this is me taking the sock out of my hair and how curly it is afterwards. So I have arrived in Glasgow. I have arrived a little early. It was either be about 30 minutes early or 15 minutes late, so I thought I'll come a little bit early and I'll find some little bit of nature. It's really not much. I found a tree and we had a little bit of water, so it will do. Just gives me a little bit of time to grind back in and connect. I had my cacao on the train and it felt quite intense actually. I never used to feel that sensitive to ceremonial grade cacao, and lately I think the main switch was going back to just using it with water. I really feel ceremonial cacao now, and I feel like I'm in a deep transformational phase of my life. So the heart is definitely cracking open and it's coming with so many new feelings, a lot of them scary, but also very beautiful at the same time. But I was going to try and talk on the train, but it was surprisingly busy for a 5:45 train in the morning. So I thought, I'm not gonna, and I just filmed those little filler clips. I thought I'll just voice over them. We will see what the day holds, but I am very excited. Now, depending on how full each class is and if I get to it early enough, I am planning to do a morning Pilates, an aerial class, which I've been interested in so long. I used to do pole and I really want to get back to pole, but I'm trying not to overwhelm myself and set too many things within one day or 1 week to try and achieve. So I will get back to it at some point. So aerial is like a nice little reminder of what that sort of world is. And then I'm giving myself a 2-hour break, which is difficult for me. I like to go and to work, and with these sorts of things I'm like, I need to make the most of the experience. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll just put something in that block, but nothing was particularly standing out, and I thought, no, I'll give myself 2 hours. That means I can eat some of my food, I can have some of my tea, I can journal, I can connect back in, see how I'm feeling. And then after that I have a fearless backbend class, which I'm really excited about because I've been working on my backbend so much lately. So it'll be nice to see what another teacher can bring. I always feel like no matter how much knowledge I feel like I'm learning on my own, as soon as I meet another teacher, I learn so much from them. There's always something new that I can then integrate into my own practice, which I'm excited about. And then I believe it's with the same woman that we go into, what was it called? Something about attachment, like understanding attachment. I don't know what the name of it is, but I'm really excited because I actually have been feeling lately like I've been so aware of things I am attached to. So I feel like it just seems so fitting to be able to go to an educational workshop based around that. I feel like it will be very beneficial for me right now. Now I'm just going to take a few moments connecting in with nature a little bit and grounding myself. I'll probably journal a little bit again, and I will drop back in once I get to the event. Oh crap! Oh, dang it. So I thought I had filmed the outro for this, but my phone had crashed, so I was just chatting for 10 minutes pointlessly. And now I've reset up and I've just spilt a full pint of water everywhere. Oh, it's just water, it'll dry. I am sitting with a little cup of tea. This is my meditation blend. It has blue lotus, chamomile, lemongrass and rose petals in it. I like to do it again. It's similar to my Earth the Womb one in the sense of it can really calm me. However, this one does it gets me thinking more from a meditative state, whereas my other one really grounds me in my body. So I thought I would have some of this tea before trying to unravel my chaotic mind into a video. However, it is Sunday late afternoon now. I did film an outro for this yesterday. However, I was so exhausted. KaliFest was amazing. It was such a long day though, and everything just happened so fast. It was so go, go, go. And my mind was really feeling a little overstimulated despite it being such a good experience. So I was watching the outro back yesterday and I thought, yeah, we're not using that. It was just me rambling, a load of nonsense. And I thought, I'm not going to waste your time by putting that in. So there was a few things I wanted to share from yesterday. Now, the KaliFest, I attended the morning Pilates, which was really amazing. Now, I didn't realize I do a lot of ribcage and pelvis alignment work, or I recently have been introducing it a lot, but the Pilates was so focused on like the pelvic control, and I thought I had a good core, and in that class it was really testing me. So something that I am now quite intrigued to invite elements of that within my training as well. With my training, I come from so many different angles. I don't like one system. I don't think one system suits. I like to take like little nuggets from lots and then create my own little system, my personal system, if that makes sense. So not that my personal system is going to work for you or for the person next door kind of thing, but it's taking all the golden nuggets from each of these systems that resonate or have aspects that resonate with me and building my own little plan. And I could then essentially tweak that for someone else and it would be their own little plan as such. But this is something that I'm definitely wanting to incorporate in more now, is that emphasis on the pelvic control rather than simply just the ribcage and the pelvis alignment. Obviously it's all very much connected, but that pelvic control that we went over really fired the core up in ways that I've not felt for I maybe haven't ever felt, despite even feeling like I have a good core. And then I went into the Get Upside Down aerial class, the aerial yoga class, and I knew I was going to love this one anyway. I used to do pole. I've been so on and off with pole, and I would love to get back to pole. I honestly think pole is amazing, and I guess as a woman, one, there's the strength and the skill aspect side to it, but then there is the side of like, I don't agree with like sex work or anything like that, but there's something about you going to a pole dancing class and the feeling you have when you walk away is actually very empowering. So not that I would want to be wearing really like revealing clothing and performing and stripping or anything like that, but the actual pole dancing class itself and learning the skill of what pole dancing is, it really, for me, feels like it brings me back into my feminine body, and I can really appreciate my feminine body for how it is, where it currently is, and meeting my body where it is at. So I knew I was going to love the aerial, and the aerial was so fun, and you're literally just like swinging yourself upside down. So because of the pole, I felt like it translated over well, and I was able to maneuver myself really well. And then I had about a 2-hour break, and I got some food in, some fresh air, and I got tower reading done here. But by this point, or at least after the tower reading, I felt like I'd just been taking in so much. And for being late Luteal, I'd also only got like 5 hours sleep the night before. Sleep is a big priority for me, and I have been slacking in it so much lately. So 5 hours sleep, and then I was up at 4 in the morning, and I knew I was going to be not home till about 8 at night. So I didn't do myself too much favour, but I'm glad I brought my own food because that really kept me going. And then the tarot reading told me a lot of things that I think I already knew, but then there was a few things where I was questioning. It said about me turning back on something that I'd worked at, or turning back on a belief that I was so strong about. And at first it confused me because I felt like I'm working on building up so many things in my life right now, and the momentum feels like it's building. So I was like, I don't understand what area I'm turning back on, because I don't feel myself turning back on any of it. However, as the day goes on, it began to unravel for me, and I then went to a back bridge class. The back bridge class Now, I come from a very strength-based side when it comes to flexibility. So this was a more yoga-based side to back bridge. So I did learn some new little skills and exercises to incorporate that will actually really enhance my back bridge, especially going down into my back bridge and my back bridge walkover. There was actually one little thing we did, and I've never felt my butt like that doing back bridge work before. So that was really nice. It was really nice learning those new skills. And then I was supposed to go to the workshop was called The Law of Non-Attachment. I was going to go to that because I felt like it was very fitting for me right now. However, in the studio I was in for the back bridge class, they were like, okay, we're needing to clear up for the sound bath immersion. And I thought, oh, at this point I was feeling so tired. My body was like, I don't know, I can't move much more, and I don't want to take any more knowledge or information in. I felt like I just needed to surrender and soften and do nothing but like relax. So I thought this sounded amazing. Now I was expecting singing bowls, chimes, the classic sound bath stuff. However, this was a gothic sound immersion, so the music was heavier, it was a lot darker, and as soon as it started playing, I thought, oh, okay, this is going to be a new experience, and I thought I instantly knew I was going to be facing some tougher aspects of myself or some shadowy aspects of myself. I'm a very visual person, so I was having crazy visuals, and it was almost like I was watching a horror movie of my own life, and it was almost like there was like paranormal activity going on, and my mind was just so active. And it lasted about an hour and a half. And the first bit, it was really difficult for me to soften into it because how intense these visuals were. But as it went on and my body relaxed and I began to unravel what this imagery actually meant, I came out of it actually feeling really light, really uplifted, and like I'd released so much. I felt like I'd really connected with my inner child and understood her in a way that she never had, and realized that she never really had space to fully express anything. So now that's why I have certain patterns that show up the way they do. Like in social settings, it's not that I don't want to be social, but when it comes to connections, I'm just like, it's too much to try, and the fear of people not understanding me, I instantly pull myself away. And even throughout this whole day, it only showed up in much more diluted scenarios than it used to, but I could feel people connecting with me, and then I felt my energy pulling away, and I was like, why am I doing this? So that sound bath, I think, was exactly what I needed, right there and right then, and I'm really glad I listened to my body and stayed in there. Now, another thing this sound bath actually really gifted me with and helped me understand my tarot reading more was a couple of years ago I fell down the spiral of the soft feminine type. Very much through Instagram, I was seeing loads of people saying about like being a trad wife and a stay-at-home mum, and doing all the household tasks and being in the soft, flowy, feminine energy, wearing the little flowy dresses. And don't get me wrong, that is very much a huge part of me. That's one side of me, and I felt really pulled to that for a reason. It was part of me that I was discovering. However, I think I got sucked into it too much, that I made it my whole personality, and that didn't feel aligned. And so now I'm at a point where I'm starting to unravel this other side of me. That soft side feels like the light side, and this other side feels like the dark, shadowy side. So feels a bit scary to connect with it, which was probably why I shut it off for so long. But now that I'm unraveling it, it's really making me question what I think it means to me and my body, what it means to be a woman. We all have the masculine and feminine within us. However, how we present that is going to differ. When I show up into my work and I'm doing an intense work block, I will go into my masculine energy because that's the action orientated and the disciplined side of me. However, when I'm trying to show up in my relationships or doing the household things or even some work aspects because of what I do, like my women's healing circles, that is my feminine energy coming out there. However, within my feminine energy, I'm now understanding not that it's a clear-cut divide, but there's two distinct aspects, and it's like the light and the dark. And within the dark, I feel like there's this, I am a Leo sun and I have a lot of fire in my chart, so this might be why I connect with this so much. But there is this real fierceness, and I think within this darkness is where I'm really going to learn to open my throat and speak my truth without the fear of being seen or heard or judged, and without the fear of being misunderstood. And within this darkness, I think I just feel there's this great sense of power, and I'm not even sure how to put it in words yet, because I'm still learning to open my throat, and I'm still learning to express my beliefs, and I'm still unraveling what this belief even is, what this part of me actually is. I just know it's this darker energy, not that the darkness is bad. And there's a lot of inner child wounds raveled up in here that I'm having to unravel to understand it. And I think this is where in that tarot reading I had said about turning back on a belief, because I was so on the side of like, yeah, being in your soft feminine energy, cooking dinner, looking after the house, being a stay-at-home mom is all a woman really needs. And don't get me wrong, I still want to do this. I still want all of that in my life. But there was this missing section, and now I'm starting to feel and lean into that, which has been really nice. And because of this, I feel like I'm actually getting harmony in my life, and I'm aligning. So everything I'm working towards is actually building. That momentum is building because I'm exploring this other side. So enough of my ramble over that. I would like to encourage you, if you have made it to here, to ask yourself what it means to be a woman for you. Do you resonate with this lighter, softer side? And do you resonate with this darker side? Now, these sides will show up differently for you. What the light means for you and what the dark means for you will show up differently from what it means to me. But I encourage you to return into your body and see if you can lean into either of those energies and see what it means for you to be a woman in your wholeness, integrating both of these energies. Now, enough of all the insights. Once I got home, I think it was maybe about 7:30 once I got home, but I sat in the park for a little bit, got my toes in the grass and just lay on the grass to try and really let my mind calm down. I felt like my mind was very, very chaotic. And when I came back in, Jack had cooked us steak, scrambled egg, avocado, and balsamic caramelized onions. I will pop the little video here so you can see. And it was the perfect meal. I felt like it was all the nutrients and goodness that my body needed. And then we did have cookies and milk. Now, Jack and I don't really eat processed foods. If we do, it is rare. I'm not saying I won't ever touch them again, but I just really don't like how it makes my body feel. If I have something processed, I feel like I'm then actually spending the next 2, 3, 4 days really having to like put a lot of effort in to remind myself that my body's just feeling sluggish, or my mental and emotional state isn't where it usually is, all because of this food. And it takes so much effort to remind myself of that. And then after those days, once it's kind of passed, it's like my system, my gut's balanced out a little, and then go back to be fine. But I would rather avoid all those sensations and experiences if I can. So our cookies were organic coconut sugar. We had almond flour instead of regular flour because gluten just messes me up a bit. And then we used butter, although last week we did use grass-fed beef tallow and that worked just as well. We added our homemade chocolate, so our chocolate's just cacao, honey and salt. So it's not something I would eat on a daily basis, these cookies. However, I would rather go for this healthier alternative of a dessert so that I don't have these negative bodily sensations and experiences than going for the proper dessert itself and then having to spend the next few days feeling that sluggishness, that bloat, the heaviness, the drained energy, the emotional instability because of all the processed sugar. So yeah, I would rather opt for them. But if you're someone who is addicted to sugar, has a lot of sugar in their diet, these cookies probably won't quite satisfy you because they've not got the same indulgence. But for me, it does satisfy that little sweetness that I crave. Now, I'm just going to wrap it up here. This is my first vlog, so not that I've really vlogged properly, but we have tried. So if you have made it this far, thanks. And I guess like and subscribe I guess that's what they usually say, isn't it? So yeah, and I will see you in the next video.